Billy Joel once said, "And So It Goes" is the greatest song he's ever written. In a recent interview with Howard Stern, Joel explained that the music for the song came first. The melody told him that it had to be about a broken heart. But what is it about the way he writes the song, specifically the lyrics, that really draws us in? The title, "And So It Goes," is at the center of how he feels. It expresses a kind of weary acceptance, as if to say that despite our best efforts or deepest feelings, certain things are beyond our control and we must move on with life. He then begins to build the verses, so they move towards this idea with a metaphor about love. The room represents a safe private place where emotions can be contained and worked through. Notice, however, that he doesn't say "inside my heart." Instead, he says "every heart." This almost philosophical thought invites us to ask the question of ourselves, increasing the likelihood we think about our own life and invest more from the start. From thereafter, we get a real sense that he goes through an emotional journey. This is highlighted through his internal struggle during a breakup. Instead of location changes or time markers you'd get in a standard love song, every section explores a new emotion. He goes from being tactical and cautious, to someone painful and aware, then finally vulnerable and willing to risk heartbreak for love. What makes this approach so powerful is that it mirrors the mental challenges we confront during a failing relationship, showing that as we process painful truths, we slowly change. This evolution of narrative lends itself to the type of structure he uses, which is called through composed. While a more obvious version of the same structure would be Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody, Joel approaches it much the same by always prioritizing new information. He does this by changing the lyrics in each chorus, straying away from a repetitive pre-chorus, and ensuring every section gives us new information. He does, however, keep coming back to these three lines, "And So It Goes" acts as the song's main hook, while the other two lines underpin how much she means to him. This is called an emotional emphasis, a deliberate technique used to intensify the central themes of love and loss in the song. So for Joel, it's like a sword he's willing to die on. And for us, it allows the lyrics to take on a deeper meaning, as they echo in our mind long after the song ends. This is all aided by perspective. In verse 2, he chooses first person. This important choice increases his vulnerability. It's like he's singing to her and we're all listening. If the lyrics had been "I spoke to her," it would have created more distance, like an observer telling the story. By using "you," there's a sense we're inside Joel's head, experiencing the emotions firsthand. In order to honor the standout melody, Joel uses a technique called "sing it how you say it." This rule encourages songwriters to craft melodies that mirror the natural rhythm of speech. Take the third line in verse 1. "From lovers past" works because that's how you'd say it in normal conversation. If he had used two words and broken it up like "so carefully," it would have felt forced. This is because in a ballad like this, where it feels conversational, disrupting the natural flow can take the listener out of the moment. Finally, what ties this all together is throughout, Joel paints emotions with actions and images so we can interpret the lyrics and find our own meaning. This is where we see how original Joel can be, as he achieves it without describing her appearance or the objects around him. Take the "Rose and Thorn" chorus. Instead of directly saying "I always get hurt in relationships," Joel implies it using a relatable metaphor. Or when he sings "and this is why my eyes are closed," he lets the image evoke a feeling of someone in despair. In both instances and throughout the song, we fill in the gaps instead of always being told what to feel. This allows space for each person to project their own experiences over the lyrics and come to individual conclusions. We then get the thought that this song is about me. The genius of the lyrical choices in "And So It Goes" lie in their simplicity. Like all the great writers, he takes very complex emotions and distills them into ideas that are easy to understand. But what's most important is they never feel cliché. As Joel looks back at his emotional scars, the listener is invited to do the same. And by doing so, we are able to come to realizations we had trouble finding words to on our own. However, there never feels a rush to move on. Instead, the song encourages reflection and acceptance. Though we might feel highly emotional, the song offers comfort by portraying heartache as something we live through, not something that defines us. So the whole process for Joel is cathartic and essential in seeking to grasp what happened. But through his lyrics, we are able to feel understood and less alone.